There are paintings that everyone in the world knows about, the Mona Lisa for example. You can imagine that the value of such works of art is indescribably high, but which expensive world-famous paintings were sold in 2022? We'll show you. Number 11. Study of Portrait of Lucian Freud. The 1964 work Study for Portrait of Lucian Freud exemplifies the iconic pairing of two of the most important painters in the canon of 20th century art. This work is a testament to Francis Bacon's ability to evoke emotion and capture the complexity of the human psyche in color. Study for Portrait of Lucian Freud illuminates a powerful dialogue of unparalleled history, the great friendship and epochal rivalry between Bacon and Freud, which lasted from 1944 to the height of their artistic quarrel in the mid-1980s. Although their visual styles differed considerably in their respective work, both painters were deeply committed to the human figure. On the 29th of June 2021, the painting was sold to an unknown buyer in London for $51.1 million. Number 10. Champs-Près des Appies. Champs-Près des Appies, a masterpiece by Vincent van Gogh from 1889. The oil painting on canvas was created during Van Gogh's stay at an asylum in Saint-Rémy in the south of France. During his treatment, he was confined to the grounds of the asylum for most of the time, but he managed to paint a few paintings of the garden, the wheat field he could see outside his room, and some portraits. During this short time, however, Van Gogh's mature style took shape. Champs-Près des Appies shows a bright green wheat field with a majestic tree, framed by the peaks of the Appies and a citrus-colored sky in the background. Van Gogh gave the painting to Joseph Roulin, a postman and model, who was a close friend of the artist. Roulin's portraits of Van Gogh are in the collections of numerous museums around the world. On the 12th of May 2022, the painting was sold in New York for $51.9 million. Number 9. Number 31. Jackson Pollock was at the height of his career when he created Number 31. It is one of 3 wall-size paintings he created in rapid succession during the summer and autumn of 1950. It is a field of densely interwoven threads of color, punctuated by puddles and splashes of paint. First, he laid the canvas on the floor and poured, dribbled and flicked enamel paint onto the surface, sometimes directly from a can or with sticks and stiffened brushes. He also applied paint to his canvases by punching holes in the bottom of paint cans, squeezing it directly from tubes, and even using a turkey baster. Although he was not the first to explore liquid enamels, Pollock exploited their physical properties in more dramatic ways than ever before. On the 12th of May 2022, the painting was sold for $54.2 million in London. Number 8. Nymphéus. Le Bassin aux Nymphéus, or Water Lily Pond, is a painting by the French Impressionist painter Claude Monet from 1919 as part of his Water Lily series of around 250 works. It was painted in oil on canvas in Givony at the time of Monet's most complete blindness. In 1922, Claude Monet donated his drawings of Nymphéus to the Musée de l'Orangerie in Paris. On 8 panels, each 2 meters high and 91 meters wide, the drawings are arranged in 2 oval rooms. At Monet's request, the room was built to be lit by daylight so that the drawings could be experienced in natural light. Due to the east-west orientation of the building, the rooms are on the course of the sun. On the 12th of May 2022, the painting was sold for $56.5 million in New York. Number 7. Le Grand Canal et Santa Maria della Salute. This painting is not only a masterpiece from Claude Monet's Venice series, but also from his entire artistic output. The shimmering, luminous view of the Grand Canal and Santa Maria della Salute is one of the finest works created during the artist's stay in Venice and is a bold embodiment of the qualities that made Monet one of the most unique and visionary artistic voices of the 20th century. On the 17th of May 2022, the painting was sold for $56.6 million in London. Number 6. Fouché. Fouché is a painting in the cubist style by the German expressionist painter Franz Marc from 1913. It shows 2 red foxes and belonged to the collection of the Museum Kunstpalast in Düsseldorf from 1962. Fouché clearly shows the influence of Robert Delaunay, whom Marc visited in Paris in 1912 together with his friend Auguste Mack. Delaunay's colorful Orphic cubism stimulated Marc just as much as the rhythmic fragmentations of the Italian futurists. The influences ensured a further development of Marc's expressionist style, which can be clearly seen in his preferred motif of single or multiple foxes. The painting was sold for $57 million in London on the 1st of March 2022. Number 5. Untitled Shades of Red. In the early 1960s, Rothko was considered one of the leading American painters. Of the style he had refined over the past 2 decades, he said, "This kind of design may look simple, but it usually takes me many hours to get the proportions and colors right. Everything has to fit together." This untitled painting on paper, with its fiery orange ground supporting a lighter yellow-orange rectangle and a fiery red rectangle, is a testament to his sophisticated understanding of color and composition. The bright, warm color palette is evidence of his constant oscillation between cool and warm tones. Many have misinterpreted Rothko's dark paintings as a result of his worsening depression and his brightly colored paintings as joyous expressions. This painting was sold for $66.8 million in New York on the 12th of May 2022. Number 4. Femme Nue Couchée. This painting is one of Picasso's most monumental and uninhibited portrayals of his muse Marie-Therese Walter. A crowning achievement of painterly verve, energy and manipulation of the human form, the present work succinctly synthesizes the artist's groundbreaking achievements of the late 1920s and early 1930s into one colorful, dynamic canvas. This painting sold for $67.5 million in London on the 17th of May 2022. Number 3. Le Parlement Soleil Couchant. In 1904, Paul Durand Ruel exhibited 37 views of London by Monet in his Paris gallery. Some of these paintings are of Charing Cross Bridge, Waterloo Bridge and Parliament. Monet began to paint these works in the autumn of 1899. In his choice of subject matter, Monet was influenced by Turner and James McNeill Whistler, 2 artists who produced important views of the River Thames and its bridges with the surrounding architecture. Monet developed what modern art has enshrined as a series. He painted the same motif at different times of the day and in different weather conditions, whether it was in the haystacks, the facade of Rouen Cathedral or the Parliament in London. This painting sold for $75.96 million in New York on the 12th of May 2022. Number 2. L'Empire des Lumières. The series of paintings, of which there are numerous versions, each depicts a supposed night scene painted in a naturalistic manner. It shows the evening or nocturnal scene of a street where the house's windows are lit up on the upper floor. Directly in front of the building, in the lower center of the painting, is a street lamp whose rays of light fall on the white plastered house wall with green shutters. Behind the house, a dark wooded area lines up. On the left, in front of the building, is a large tree that dominates the picture. In an earlier landscape format version of the painting from 1950, a row of houses can be seen and, in the place of the tree in the background, a square tower. The always nocturnal mood, kept in a dark color palette, is contrasted by a midday pastel blue summer sky with white cumulus clouds, which takes the motif ad absurdum. This painting was sold for $79.8 million in London on the 2nd of March 2022. Number 1. Shot Sage Blue Marilyn. The Shot Marilyns are a series of 4 works by the US artist Andy Warhol, showing the portrait of Marilyn Monroe in different colors. These works were part of a 5-part series with the same motif in different colors and were damaged by a shot from a revolver by action artist Dorothy Podber in 1964, shortly after they were completed. The works are usually designated in the art market and in specialist literature by indicating the background color: shot red Marilyn, shot orange Marilyn, shot light blue Marilyn, and shot sage blue Marilyn. The intact 5th image is the turquoise Marilyn. This painting sold for $195.04 million in New York on the 10th of March 2022. Do you have a favorite artist or painting that you really like? Write it down in the comments.